Example 5. Solving a quadratic inequality. We want to solve x squared minus x minus 12, which is less than 0. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this quadratic x squared minus x minus 12, and we're going to set it equal to 0. And then we're going to factor this. So when we factor this, we need to come up with two numbers that when we multiply them together, it's going to give us negative 12. Then when we add them together, it's going to give us negative 1. And those two numbers are going to be 3 and negative 4. So we're going to factor. So we have x plus 3 times x minus 4, and that's equal to 0. And now we're going to use the zero product rule. So we have x plus 3, which is equal to 0, or x minus 4, which is equal to 0. And so therefore, solving for x, we get x, which is equal to negative 3, or x, which is equal to positive 4. Okay. Now for step 2, what we want to do is we want to figure out what are those intervals on the number line that contain those testing points. So here, we're going to write our 0 in the middle. We're going to note where negative 3 is, and then we're going to note where positive 4 is. And then we're going to create these regions from those testing points. So we have region 1, region 2, and region 3. And so what do those regions tell us? Well, they're going to give us intervals. So since this is an inequality here, which is less than, that means we're going to have parentheses at each testing point. So for region 1, it's going to go from negative 3 all the way to negative infinity. So that interval is going to go from negative infinity to negative 3. In region 2, this interval is going to go from negative 3 to positive 4. And then region 3 is going to go from positive 4 to positive infinity. And so therefore, we're going to go from 4 to positive infinity. Okay? So now, in step number 3, we needed to pick a point from each region to determine whether it would be true or false depending upon our equation. Our inequality. So, for step number 3, we're going to take a look at region number 1. Now we can pick any point we want in that region. You can pick negative 4, negative 5. Now, the reason why you can't pick negative 3 is because it's a testing point. So it's not going to tell us what's happening in that region. So it's important to at least pick a point that's within that region that's not a testing point. So we're going to go ahead and pick x equals negative 4. Okay, and then we're going to plug it into that inequality of x squared minus x minus 12, and we want to see if that's going to be less than 0. So we have negative 4 squared minus a negative 4 minus 12. We want to see if that's less than 0. So negative 4 squared is going to give us 16. That's going to give us plus 4, and that's going to give us minus 12. And so therefore, 20 minus 12 is going to give us 8. And 8 is not less than 0. So this is false. So it's going to be false for region number 1. Okay, let's test region number 2. We're going to pick the easiest number in that region, which is 0. So x is equal to 0, and then we're going to plug it into the inequality, x squared minus x minus 12, which is less than 0. So we have 0 squared minus 0 minus 12, which is less than 0. That's a 0, that's a 0, so negative 12. Is negative 12 less than 0? Well, the answer is true. So we know it's true for region 2. And then for region number 3, we're going to pick a value that's greater than 4, so we'll choose 5. And again, we're going to use the inequality x squared minus x minus 12, which is less than 0. So we plug that in. So we have 5 squared minus 5 minus 12. So 5 squared is 25, minus 5 is 20, and 20 minus 12 is 8. And is 8 less than 0? Well, that's false. So it's false. Okay? So what does that tell us? Well, we need to figure out where is it true. So what is the solution to this? Well, the solution to where it's true is this. This is where it's true, this region. So then our answer is the following. So the answer for our question is parentheses -3, comma, +4. Now, if we wanted to graph this, we can determine that by creating the graph. So here we have x squared minus x minus 12. So we want to find out where it's less than 0, meaning below the x-axis. And you can see here that when we graph, you can see it's below the x-axis between the intervals -3 and 4.